Live from the kitchen once again.
Yo.
Shitty.
Merry Xmas, everybody.
Not Merry Christmas. Merry Xmas. What do you
Not
mean by
Christmas,
that?
Xmas. Merry Xmas, everybody. Sister Jane.
What does that even mean? Goodness gracious.
Yeah, explain it, Trevor. For those that don't know.
Oh, for those that don't know, and we'll get to it later, Xmas is the last name of the I always forget his first name, but leading scorer in the nation, plays for Oral Roberts University. We'll get to that upstate later on today over Sheedy's the Ohio State University Buckeyes. And of course, if you don't know Sister Jean by now, Sister Jean is from Loyola, Chicago. They just pretty much smacked, even though the score may not reflect it. They smacked Illinois today. So hence the name. Merry Xmas from Sister Jean.
Yeah, and they really did get beat bad, pretty bad. But anyways.
Hold on, one last thing before we start, man. Gotta wish a happy birthday to Skylar's mama, Miss Wanda Catchings, and shout out to her and Skylar for being a this morning.
All right.
Is he saying something?
Yeah, so I couldn't hear you. You say something, Skylar?
Are you on mute?
Nah,
you're
on. Okay.
Yeah. So we'll pause tight. Great segue, actually. And congratulations, Mama Wanda, for running, I should say, her first 5K ever. And many more to come. It's a great segue to what we're talking about with schooling for Sheedy, This month, as you guys know, is March, not the March of Dimes, so to speak, or March Madness, but also March being Women's Month. So right now, let's get started with schooling in session. Sorry about my daughter in the background. So Women's Month. So first of all, this was actually just a day. And International Women's Day is March 8th. It was first celebrated in 1911. Some older gentlemen know about 1911, I guess. Or some are colder in 06. But anyways, and first was started in March 8th, 1911. And then it wasn't really celebrated with us in America until like 1978. And then Women's Month really started happening in like the late 70s. And it's now been a thing, and it should always be a thing, right? Especially after Black History Month as well. Hispanic Heritage Month is also a thing for people that do not know. But today's episode, I want to start talking about our most influential women within our lives of gentlemen. And so I put the order within the chat, which is Sharky, Took, Savage, Skylar, then Trevor, speaking about the women that we have and bestowed in our life.
So on my end, various different women, as most of y'all don't know. I don't know my actual biological mother, so I have plethora of other women. So as I was growing up, my aunts, pretty much all my aunts, my aunt Naya, who I live with now, my aunt Evita, my uncle's wife, my aunt Catrice, all played a critical portion of my life. My aunt Carlotta, so all of them played a huge portion of my life. My grandmother, she died when I was 4. But those 4 years, I remember her at least for 2, at least since I was 3 or 4. So I do remember some point, and I know she was very influential. Just other women, of course. My stepmama, my dad didn't get married until I was 21, but she's been very influential since in my adulthood life. And ended off, I had my kindergarten teacher who also went to my church. She was very influential. Of course, my fiance, Mikhail, and her mother, so about to get married. So, of course, she's influential. I do have a female best friend who won't be my best friend no more after I get married, of course. But Laterica, adulthood, once again, met her when I was working for FedEx back in 2013. Been real cool. She's been there for me since. So that's all the women pretty much influential in my life that's played a big portion in how I've become who I am.
Good, bro. Well, I guess until I'm able to find that influential woman for me to give a ring to, mine is, and really forever will be my mom, right? Backstory about me and my mom. My mom had me when she was like 20, 21. So she was real young when she had me, but that relationship that we have is like really big brother, big sister type. Like if y'all know me and how, I react, I get me from her, what I'm saying, the way she is. So of course she's been through a lot, especially over the last couple of years, but she's finding herself, finding her rhythm, raising 2 kids at, 23, I guess, like that shit's amazing. Excuse my French, but I'm looking back, like when I was 23, like what was I doing? Just wilding out. But like, what were we all doing? Just like doing our own thing. But she was, raising 2 kids, 2 men. And I think if you look at how me and my brother turned out, like it was all due to her strength. And I couldn't be more proud to say, that's my mom. So if I had to pick anybody who influenced me, my drive, my grind, it'd definitely be her.
For sure. Definitely my mom. My mom is the first example of a strong Black woman in my life. If y'all know my mom, y'all know how she is. She's very articulate, hardworking. Even now with her back issues, like she still want to walk around and do everything, to be honest. But she really is Superwoman for me. And of course, my wife Kiera, I've known her almost half my life. Just piggybacking off like my mom, like when I see my mom, like the bar is high for who was going to be my wife anyway. And so if my mom, a strong Black woman, birthed me, then you damn sure I'm gonna marry a strong Black woman too. So shout out to Kiera for that. And also her mom had a strong influence on my life as well too. Her mom actually had her young. I think she was like 16 years old. And to see her, sustain all that she's been through and to come out on top and be the mom that she can be and be the woman that she can be, definitely influential in my life. So mother-in-law, my mom, and of course my wife are my 3 women.
Still can't hear you, Skylar.
My boy talking his heart out.
He was
My boy talking his heart out. What'd you say? Say it again.
Yeah, you might need to just go ahead and type it out if you need
Take your time, Pastor.
Had to go.
You got it, bro.
Really trying to type it out too. I guess we're gonna while we wait.
Yeah, I'll go ahead and start off. My first glimpse of a strong Black woman actually would start with my great grandmother, raising 4 generations of children in our house, including my mother, as well as my generation and the generation after me. Then from her, of course, my mother. Love that woman to death. Probably wouldn't be the man I am without her or my dad at this point, but this is about the women. Of course, I gotta go with Mrs. Ship herself, my wife. And lastly, my mother-in-law, who, if it wasn't for her, I probably wouldn't be married. So, mom, mother-in-law, great-grandmother, and of course, Mrs. Ship herself.
I'm trying to see if scholars can jump in. No, hello. You want to try to talk? No, you might just need to leave and come all the way back.
You come back on their phone now.
Yeah, come on back. I know he said for Skylar, his mother, Mama Catchins, Bianca, his wife, and his daughter Eva. And my list is very similar, but I think it means something to go in order with this one. And so for me, my first one is actually my wife. And the reason why I say that is because there's a saying that friends are the family that you choose, right? And nothing against my mother. I was born right into, my mother gave me life, right? But Brianna is the person that I choose to spend the rest of my life with, right? And so that's why that's her, number one. Number 2 would be my daughter, Alea. Having kids is cool, but like going from a boy to a girl really changes how you think about life and being a parent. And I've really seen like kind of night and day how I've taken care of both of them differently, and how she's made me a better man. And then of course my mother at the end. I don't want to say the end, but like she would be third. She is the reason why I am here, right? And I made it to Memphis, but my wife is the reason I'm the man I am now. but my mother is what helped me, grounded me early on in my life. So gotta give her for that one. Next part is influential women. So we talk about women that we have, within our lives that people do know on this show, and people may not know. But who are some like celebrities that you believe are influential women that we don't, maybe give enough praise to, or that we do give a lot of praise to? We'll keep the same order as well with Sharky Tube Savick. If Savick can talk.
If I met that maybe.
More clear. See better.
Hey.
5G.
But celebrity women, hey, just skip past me. I can't think of none right off the top of my head.
I actually can. And it's funny. I was Beyonce, Destiny's Child. Of course, like I'm a huge music fan, and she came and in our childhood where we fell in love with music, and Destiny's Child, like they transcended ways for women and inspired women. Period. You know what I'm saying? And still to this day, like if they were to do a concert today, everybody would go. Like I tried to go. You know what I'm saying? So to see her elevate her career from a group, like many people don't even elevate themselves from a group, right? And then they elevated herself from a group to now Queen Bee. Like if I would have said something disrespectful right now, we probably wouldn't even have a podcast right now. Like that's a dope influence to have. It's kind of scary in some aspects, but still, to her grind, to being who she is, and to putting her grind into her work is dope and is admirable. I think her husband Jay-Z too. Like, I mean, that's cool too. You got dope kids that's gonna come after you. Like, I mean, that's pretty amazing. Like, so I would say for me, Beyonce is pretty cool.
And that's actually interesting you said Beyonce, because she was actually, when he had asked the question, she was the first came to my mind. But I was just thinking about influential for me on who I feel influenced by. Beyonce. Okay. But I was trying to think, like, I could just think anybody just who really inspired me right out the bat. So.
I mean, for me, it's like performing. Like I like performing. Like I know I'm a DJ, right? And then for me to see her performances is like Beyonce is like top whatever as far as like performances go. And she can be like one of the most laid back people in the world, but when it's showtime, you know what I'm saying, you see what she becomes. So I think for me that's pretty inspiring.
Beyonce was the first one that came to my mind. But I'm gonna go a little bit differently. I don't know if y'all know who Jackie Hill Perry is. She is a gospel poet who I had the privilege of seeing. I want to say sometime either it was 2019 because before pandemic. So 2019, a long time ago. But yeah, she obviously has a very detailed story of how she came to coming to Christ, and just her story. She has a book called Gay Girl, Good Guy that I highly recommend you guys reading. But like she is true to herself, but is also true to her beliefs and Christianity and things like that. And she somehow, I won't say somehow, but she's able to display what it means to be a strong woman while also honoring God and honoring her husband, honoring her kids, and still is able to have an identity within herself, which I think is important for a lot of women, to not necessarily like, oh, I'm mom or I'm wife. Like, no, you are your own person. And I think that's important for a lot of women to understand that, you are not, somebody else's like title or status. Like you are your own person. You are created in God's image. And I think that she does a good job of displaying that every day for herself. But highly recommend her. She's a great poet. That's my person, Jackie Hill Perry.
For me, mine is Serena Williams. Hopefully I think that's a good enough answer. Serena Williams is someone that I grew to watching sports really, really early into my my sports watching career, right? So Serena has been really influential to not, I think, only her sport, but a lot of Black girls, a lot of Black women as well too. Just to see how she's dominated her sport, not for 2 and 3 years. No shade to Michael Jordan, but not for 10 to 12 years. But she's done this in her sport for quite some time. And she was already a really big influential person in my, I wouldn't say in my life, but just being able to see what she's overcome in her time, also being able to coming from the shadow of her sister Venus, who was at one point kind of dominated tennis too. So to come from behind that shadow, dominate tennis the way that she did, but I think also recently when she had the baby, she won, I think, one of the biggest Grand Slams in tennis sports, but never also complained about it. And I'm just one of those people. I find myself like liking people or trying to be around people who don't like to make mistakes not make mistakes, make excuses for what they have going on in life. So she's been really influential, just like I said, not to tennis, not to Black women, but for people like me.
Okay. Well, for me, I'm gonna actually name two, and it's kind of like a little segue. I'm actually gonna go with the former First Lady, of course, Miss Michelle Obama, and I'm also gonna go with the current Vice President, Ms. Kamala Harris. Just from the standpoint of just being Black and showing not only just Black women, but just pretty much Black men for that matter, that we could occupy or be in some shape or form within the highest ranking order of the United States. Given Kamala's past of what she did as a district attorney in California, just being able to see and witness that, I think has been like huge and influential to not only everything that women have been doing, that Black women, have been doing prior to, but just strives for what the future may hold for this great nation going forward. So, keep it simple.
Yeah, and sorry, fellas, I did drop that question on you. But thank you guys for your responses. I also had two as well that I wanted to get to. And this person before this happened wasn't really a celebrity, but this person became a celebrity and a figure that we should never forget. Her name is Breonna Taylor. And that was, when I say influential, she was a huge component of why we had a Black Lives Matter and the things that have happened since then. Another huge figure for me is influential is Oprah Winfrey. Talking about a woman that has been in something for years, right? I again agree with what Serena's been doing, but Oprah Winfrey has dominated daytime television for decades. And hasn't been afraid to get her hands dirty either. There was an interview she did in an all-white town that didn't accept Black people at all in the 80s. It was like late 80s, early 90s. If you don't know, do your research about that one. And she's a billionaire. So, I mean, she's all about her money too. But shout out to Beyonce and all the other ones that we said. This is going to be women's rights. Well, women's rights. This is Women's Month. We'll be doing a series with Schooling with Shidi about this. And then you can prepare for Schooling with Shidi as its own segment. But as you know, the more you grow. Come on back. It's Shidi. Class dismissed.
Cool. And in the words of the NCAA, just be happy you're here.
Yep. Great class. Special shout out to Sister Jean, as I see her name twice on two people. And leave her out in this whole thing as well. But let's get it started. Episode 129, to be determined for a name, may not have a name. It's episode 129, but how's it going?
Good, everybody.
Doing good, doing great.
All right. So we have a lot to get into. A lot of stuff going on this week. We even have some topics that missed. Special topics that just missed this episode. LeBron is out indefinitely, but he will be back for the season out, so that's why they didn't get added, as well as, like I said, there's other different topics. But quick reactions. Let's get it.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, it is March Madness, and the madness is in full effect. So we've had one shout out to the NCAA. I mean, I know we do this every year, except for last year, But basketball been on like every day for like the past couple of days, and it's just been like a dream for me. I love March basketball. I love different coaching matchups. I just love different style. I love that. But the most important thing about March Madness, at least in the first weekend, are the upsets. So we do have a couple upsets, and I'm gonna let the people whose team got upset speak on it. So we did have UNC North Texas over Purdue. Shout out to Javian Hamlet from Whitehaven High School for going ham. Shout out to the Haven, strike from the Haven, so you know what it is. My bad too. My bad too. Shout out to Oral Roberts over Sheedy's Ohio State Buckeyes.
Everybody
went ham. Today we just had Loyola. I don't know if that's an upset or not, but Loyola just beat Illinois.
On paper it is, but Loyola
a little better than Illinois. I'm not gonna lie to you. Abilene Christian beat Tukes, quote unquote, Texas Longhorns.
He disowned them.
He disowned my bad. I forgot Tuke disowned.
So you figure out why?
He did it fresh out the game. Fresh out the game.
I want to know why.
Long what? The long what?
Long way.
Come on, man.
I want to know why, though, but I'm going to let Savage finish.
But there was a team from Ohio. There was a team from Ohio that did win. Ohio University. The Ohio University. Ohio did beat Virginia. You said what, too?
Karma gonna come back and bite you in the ass because you being real slick right now. You being it's cool.
And honestly, I forgot who Tennessee lost to. I know
right, that's for last.
Who they lose to?
Oregon State.
Oregon State, yeah. Tennessee lost to Oregon State. So if your team lost, feel free. The floor is yours. I will fall back. My team didn't make it. So
we lost to a team that had one tournament game in 39 years.
As far as my team goes,
they won their conference tournament. They were
they
hot.
Did. Hot.
They won the conference tournament, got an LR's bid, so they were hot going into that matchup.
I picked them to beat us, so hey,
I did too, because the writing was on the wall after the second matchup with Florida, where somehow Tennessee still won that game. I still say Florida should have won it. Then the performance in the SEC tournament, them getting smacked by Alabama in the second round, I was like, yeah, if they get the matchup, and I believe we were recording this very show as Selection Sunday was going on, and when Tennessee's matchup was revealed, I immediately went in this chat that we have on, and I told Sharky, you know there's an upset, right? So, it is what it is. Hey, at least Memphis won the other day. We'll get to them later.
Sharky, yawning.
As far as the Longhorns go, man. Maybe it's defense, maybe it's offense, maybe it's Maybelline. Nobody really knows at this point. Abilene Christian, bro.
You said Maybelline?
You said Maybelline?
Abilene. Maybe it's here from Memphis.
Is it Abilene?
Maybelline.
Was it Abilene?
I don't know. It's whatever. It's Maybelline, bro. But
I'm sorry, y'all. There's folks from that school watching. I'm sorry.
The game. If you go and watch the game, like we were winning, and then one of the players went up for a layup, and I forgot what his name, Matt Coleman, right? All he had to do, just simple defense is this. If you go back and watch the layup that he does, there is no way in hell he's gonna hit that. So you don't have to foul him. But you want to swing and make ESPN top 10 like an idiot, and now you on the couch looking like one.
Hey,
congratulations, you played yourself. Matter of fact, that's the L of the month for me.
You ranting? It sucks that y'all lost, but I can appreciate a 58% free throw shooter making 2 free throws and win that game, because we know damn well if a 78% free throw shooter, which I don't think Memphis has that anyway, if a 78% free throw shooter from Memphis was in that same situation, he probably missed both free throws. I can't appreciate that from a small school. A 58% free throw shooter makes some clutch free throws. I can't appreciate that.
Yeah,
maybe it's Maybelline.
I got a quick question too before Sheedy goes to talk about the Buckeyes. Are you with the rest of the Long Coup Nation in calling for Shaka Smart's job?
Absolutely. Because literally defense, hands straight up, that's discipline.
So you're giving up on a coach who literally just won the NIT not last season, but 2 seasons.
We got
yeah.
We're gonna put the next one. Not now. Not yet.
We'll save it for later.
Go ahead,
we'll save it later. Not yet.
I'm here to talk about the Buckeyes.
You're not here to talk about the Buckeyes.
What?
Huh?
What you just say?
If I'm not supposed to talk about the Buckeyes, I'm sorry. I came in.
Yeah.
Came back.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Next topic.
Let's talk about Acemas, because that man like all of 5 to 10. He all of 5'10", putting
We wish you a Merry Acemas. We wish you a Merry Acemas. We wish you a Merry Acemas and a happy exit.
That's how the song goes.
Well, he said next topic.
Hold on. I'll say this, I guess. I said earlier, before we start recording, I really wanted this to be at least a Sweet 16 team. At times this year, we look like at least an Elite 8 team, to be honest. But the beautiful thing about March Madness is you just have to be the best team for 40 minutes, and we weren't. As simple as that. It could be one turnover, it could be one shot, it could be anything it could be. But for 40 minutes, we were not better, and we deserve to lose. Well, actually, it was 45 minutes. But anyways, we didn't take care of business in 40 minutes. Therefore, we had to go to 45 and still lost. So this is what it is.
Styles make fights, man.
Yeah.
All right, Skyler, let's talk about our team.
So I'm not sure if we talked about it or not. Well, I think we talked about it really briefly right before we went off air. But Memphis, of course, did not make the NCAA tournament. So we were selected as a number 1 seed for the NIT tournament. And we did have our first game, and we defeated Dayton Young yesterday, 71-60. My personal opinion, that was probably one of the most best played games from the Memphis Tigers. Landers Nolly showed us who we thought he would be. He had 21 big points. Lester Quiones is one of those players that I'm really starting to grow and like. He had 15. DeAndre Williams had 12, and I think DJ came off the bench with 10. So all around a pretty decent game. It was good for them to get their first win in the NIT. I think they play in the upcoming days. They play, it's right on the tip of my tongue, Boise State on Thursday. So I'm not sure which one of y'all watched the game, but really quickly, did you guys watch the game? What were your thoughts on it?
It was on my TV. I didn't really pay attention.
One, that court was ugly. That court was really ugly.
North Texas won it.
Yeah, North Texas. Yeah. 2, I mean, it's an NIT game. Nobody really cares about it, but it looked like Memphis was just a better team, and it just overmatched them. This is what it was.
Yeah.
Shout out to Jalen Crutcher, though.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
All right. Next up, Sheedy. Talking about your boy and boys.
Yeah, so I would like to hear from those resident Laker and Yankee fans on this next transaction that occurred, and that is LeBron James, who has been doing a lot behind the scenes of basketball, now becoming part owner of the Boston Red Sox, this being his 3rd AL team to possibly cheer for in a matter of 6 years. Indians and Yankees, as of course, being the other 2 teams. So just want to hear from the Laker fans first, and then any Yankee fans. How do you feel about this or if you're a double, might as well make it a double, right? For you. Go ahead.
I don't know why he laughing. You a Lakers, Yankees, Alabama,
I
USC
will
fan?
start on behalf of the Yankees since Skyler is struggling to gather his thoughts together. Overall, I mean, kudos to LeBron, just for the transaction itself and just for the mindset that he has for, and the plans that he has for himself once basketball is done. So I'll definitely commend him for that. Definitely lost some points with me though, because I thought he was a full-blown Yankees fan. Last time I checked, he was putting on heavy for the New York Yankees, and then just for this to happen to associate himself with the Red Sox, who, of course, I'm supposed to hate because I'm a Yankees fan, but Still not over how they treated Mookie Betts, but he got back at him by winning the World Series, so that's a different story. So in the end, just kudos to him. Or if this is some underlying tactic to get the Yankees another World Series, I would gladly welcome that. Like on some Captain America Hail Hydra type stuff. Hey, that's fine with me too. But yeah, kudos to LeBron. In all seriousness, and this is just him playing chess right now while the rest of the world's playing checkers.
Yeah, I just think one, I thought nothing of it. I mean, I think LeBron is entitled to put stock or put shares into a team, whichever team that he wants and chooses. I think maybe he has some form of inside scoop that the Boston Red Sox are going to somehow turn it around pretty soon. I wouldn't bet it. It is the Red Sox. So maybe that's why he's leaning more into the Red Sox. He probably couldn't afford. I'm pretty sure LeBron James has a bunch of money, but there are so many people that have some stock or some shares into the New York Yankees that he probably couldn't. So Boston Red Sox it was.
Steinbrenner ain't letting that happen.
That
ain't happen.
Oh, the shade. All right, let's get to the serious matter. Mr. Took, I got the pictures to help you out too for the women's NCAA tournament.
Absolutely. Cool. Well, of course, the tournament is underway for the men's, but it also is for the women. Go ahead and pull up those pictures right here. These are the pictures for the men, right?
These
are the pictures.
The top one is the men.
For the women's now. Yeah. The top one for the men's. Okay, so pretty much what the NCAA did for the women was pretty much provided them with a corner to work out on. Sharky, if you want to get a better view, you can zoom in on my picture real quick on my screen, just to get a view. You know what I'm saying? Right there, boom. That's their corner. That's what they were using to work out in. As far as the men's go, they have a whole facility, right? So everybody, NCAA pretty much got exposed for not even caring about women's needs per usual, right? And I think I can speak for all of us that we can say like what we weren't shocked, whether we expected this, and it's just normal NCAA decision. So I kind of need y'all help, man. I know y'all know I call the not care at all league or not cool at all league, right? I want to change the C. I want to change the C for it. So I want to say no C at all. Would it be no cash at all to be able to provide, better facilities, better all of this to the players, or better yet, be able to pay the players that actually play, right? Or should it be no compassion at all? The NCAA basketball, especially this, was built on the black man's back, so why not pay them for it? Which I guess we're finally getting around to. Or would it be no caring at all? They just don't care at all. What we changing?
I'm going to go no compassion at all, and I think this is really tacky. I think this is really this is about as disgusting as you can get if you're the NCAA. If these were your only options, then why not allow, I guess, the 1 seeds or the 2 or 3 seeds that are hosting games, or for each bracket, for them to host some of these games, so that way you aren't having to put these women in these type of circumstances, right? This is pretty bad, bro. Like I've seen the food, like I've seen better food, like in middle school, like that was pretty. That's pretty tough. So I think no compassion at all, no care at all is what I would go with.
Yeah.
Well, what Tyler refers to as far as the food goes, I'm sorry, Trevor, before I cut you off. What food goes, remember when President Obama was in office and the players were treated right when they came to visit him? It's that versus when Trump was in office and he fed the Clemson players McDonald's. It's literally the same thing as far as what's going on right now.
Or when the NBA players first got to the bubble.
Come on, man.
Or when the NBA players first got to the bubble.
I'll play Trevor and Nava.
There you go. Look, come on, man.
It's crazy.
On Women's Month.
NCAA for you.
Exactly. On Women's Month. What we just talked about.
Have you not been paying attention to any billboard, any commercial, any Twitter? Like, come on, NCAA, man.
They spent all that money on that Jumbotron they got outside of the Chase building.
That's what it is. Whatever, man. Any more thoughts about what's going on with the NCAA? I'm done.
They ultimately corrected it, I suppose, but it shouldn't take pressure from the outside, because if there wasn't pressure, then nothing would have happened in the first place, which is just downright bad. It's I mean, equality amongst men and women. I don't know what is going on with our world, our economy, the NCAA. Obviously, this is literally, this picture is indicative of, like, you know, men getting paid more for the same job type thing. Like, it's crazy.
Wow, this is crazy, bro.
So let me ask y'all this. Let me ask y'all this though, and this is me completely being devil's advocate, because y'all know how I feel about the women. To the person that would say that the women's tournament is not bringing in as much revenue, therefore much revenue shouldn't be provided to them as far as their accommodation, what do y'all say?
That's BS, because players don't get paid. It don't mean nothing. If they're on the same level playing field, they get the same scholarship money, same education. There's no, unless players are getting paid, there's no other way. Like, if it's NBA and WNBA, you may be able to get away with that. You shouldn't, but you may be able to get away with that. But college athletics, absolutely not. Nope.
Not cool at all.
Not cool at all.
Bingo.
They're not cool at all. Let's get it.
All right. Trevor, you got some news, some explaining, clarification on something?
Gather around, ladies and gentlemen. It's story time with the guy, Tunica Trevor, whichever one y'all want to refer to. So a couple of, I think it was maybe last month, of course, we did our Elder Month, and I had my rant on Kemah Siverand. For at that point, he was the street racing incident. So, which prompted a close friend of his to reach out to me via DM, saying I need to get my facts straight. So, of course, being the adult that I am, I actually had a brief conversation with this guy. Was actually able to clear everything up. So, first and foremost, we'll start with the incident with the Seattle's training camp. So, first and foremost, the woman was not white that he was trying to sneak in. She was actually Hispanic. It was a nice little joint that he'd been messing off with from his days at Texas A&M. So that solves the race of the woman in the whole thing. He did say that the guy's girlfriend, his actual girlfriend, Kemah Siverand's girlfriend, is white. So he kind of did the little head nod there. The guy that I talked to, he said he was a close friend. He's been like a best friend for Kemah. They've been rocking since they was like 6th grade. And I was like, hey, can't do nothing but appreciate you. That's your guy. You go ride for him. It is what it is. He did mention that he's kind of messing up the bag for him, though, for everybody. I think that was, of course, the main point that we were all getting at with the whole situation. Like, why would you put yourself at risk with that? As of now, he's still on the Las Vegas Raiders roster as of today. So if you guys want to touch on it, whoever want to start, the floor is yours.
I can appreciate him coming and DMing you and DMing you respectfully, because that wasn't like he didn't come at you like, no, take that down. He didn't come at you no aggressive way. He came at you was like, hey, make sure I get y'all straight. And he didn't come. It didn't feel like he just came at you like a
no.
He came. He was very respectful, and like y'all just had a conversation. It was I can respect it, because typically these days people gonna come at you be like, nah, bro, man, what y'all talking about? Tweet. I appreciate it.
Real recognize real. Yeah. That's all I had to say.
And like I said, I shows let's be real. Like I say, I like if we don't have our facts straight, do that. Y'all open it, let us know, get our facts straight. I'd rather that don't come at us no type of aggressive way, because like I said, we're not on no type of mess.
But I like the fact that like in this industry is like we get a lot of trolls, right? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And the people that just want to say something just for like clickbait or just attention. But the fact that y'all engagement was respectful, it's showing that hey, I can reproach you as a man. You can look at the situation like, okay, cool. Let me bag back and see and figure out things so I can present the right information. And I think that's a kudos to you, because that's what kind of information and content and respect that's needed all around in this kind of industry. So kudos to you for that, and kudos to the gentleman for approaching you in a manly fashion.
Do you have some, Sheedy?
No, I'm good. I'm good.
Cool. All right, that's a great segue into real talk.
Yeah, staying in the Southwest for the most part. We transitioned over to Houston, unfortunately. As of today, there have been 22 cases of sexual assault that have just now surfacing. There are being allegations against Houston, Texas quarterback, Deshaun Watson. As you all know, Deshaun Watson has come out and has clearly demanded a trade and has clearly stated that he will never play another down for the Houston Texans again. Cue all of these allegations. We don't know if it's true or not. If it is true, of course, that's kind of bad on Deshaun. But what I found, what was weird about it is all 22 of these women that are now coming out are all being represented by Tony Busby, who's the attorney in the case. Of course, it's been revealed that he is neighbors with the McNair family. The McNair family, of course, owners of the Houston Texans. So I got the order in the chat. Just want to get you guys' take on the whole situation. Of course, we're not here to assume innocence or guilt. Just provide your thoughts on the whole situation.
Yeah. The situation is very, what's the word to put forward? It's a sad situation for either way it goes. It's sad if they really pinned this story on him and he didn't do anything. And it's also sad if he actually did do the things. So I just hate that either way it comes out to be, whichever side falls, whichever happened, I hate that it has to be this way, right? I don't feel like Deshaun Watson is the type of person, but I don't know him personally. He hasn't been in trouble for anything, but you never know, right? But also on the other end, this is an industry. Rich people get what they want. We saw Antonio Brown last year. Although Antonio Brown did a whole bunch of other stuff, right? But the whole story with him and the whole sexual assault stuff came out right at good timing for his contract to get voided. The Texans would lose a lot of money if they trade him, and they would get a huge cap hit. So you could see that side, but also could see if he actually did do it. So it's sad both ways, no matter which way the story actually turns. I just hate that this is happening either side.
Yeah, when I first heard it, I was like, wow, there's a lot of people coming out, all at once. And you see that happening when these things tend to happen, when it's a big person and somebody, and this is all theoretical, somebody has the courage to come out and say, hey, this happened with this person, that, that builds, more people to come forward and speak out. So I don't know what happened. Like I said, we don't know him, but there's a lot of momentum for it to be 22 people. There's also some skepticism to come from the guy who's friends with the ownership of the Houston Texans. I will say that Deshaun Watson, as far as like what I saw on television and, as far as like character, he didn't have anything going on from what I can remember, even back at like Clemson. He's the product of like, I believe it's Warwick Dunn, who bought his family a house, a couple when he was younger. So he knows what it's like to come out of the struggle. So I don't predict that he's a bad person or bad character, but then again, you never know what goes on, behind closed doors. So, like Sharky said, it is unfortunate. I hope it doesn't come out. Well, I mean, we don't know. It's gonna be both sides. It's bad. You know what I'm saying? Deshaun is like a top 5 talent as far as like the quarterback position, and so for this to happen to him is bad. And I don't know what's gonna happen as far as what comes out of the situation. Will he be traded? Will he be released? I have no idea. But my hope is that things turn out for the better. It probably won't for either side, but I mean, that's what it is right now.
Oh, and also, hey, one last thing I want to say before 2 go. I prefer it's the Texans doing something. outside the other one, because his career is possibly over if it's the other, the sexual assault actually happened. If it's just the Texans, he gonna get signed into the big deal. Let's just be real on it.
This segment is called Real Talk for a reason, right? So what I want to talk is real. This whole situation is complete bullshit to me. The reason I say that is because if you think about every summer within the NFL, there's never been, as far as like being able to trade wise, there's never been a superstar in his prime, top 5, that's saying, hey, I want out of this team, right? And if you look at the times that we're in, this is the NFL. I think that the NFL using the Texans as an example for any other player that try to say, I want out of this situation, period. Like the way that the Texans treat their players, we've seen it done. We've seen how they treated DeAndre Hopkins, the Andre Johnsons of the world. This is the NFL. This is America, right? To take down a man who has done nothing wrong since day one, since Clemson. You know what I'm saying? I follow Deshaun on social media. Girlfriend, who I'm pretty sure will be his wife one day, very beautiful, wouldn't have to do anything with these 22 women who coincidentally are represented by the same person that's best friends with the owner. Come on, man. That's pretty whack to me. To call a spade is bullshit. And I can't wait till the end of this when Deshaun is on another team, because now you're adding to who I call a lion, right? Somebody with a lion spirit. Deshaun Watson is a top 5 quarterback. And once he gets out, you're adding fuel to his fire. So he may come out into whatever team he joins and put up numbers and put up the biggest FU to the Texans and to the NFL, really, because they're really trying to bring him down for something that I'd try to get out of if I was him as well.
Yeah. Reputation ruiner, regardless of what happens. Whether the allegations are true or not, it sucks. And of course, on the end of Shark, I agree. Like, you rather it be that the Texans lied about it and made it up, or found somebody to do that. But it just sucks. Like, in this realm, I think of, and just walk with me. I think of 2 different people, and both are entertainers. I'm not saying that these allegations were true or false, but things happen. Bill Cosby. Bill Cosby, before our time, was known as the prototypical black male as a leader in the household, right? You saw a black family there. But Bill Cosby, what happened. It felt like it wasn't just one. It felt like it was just dozens at a time, just like open up a can of worms. And forever, his reputation is ruined. You ask a kid right now, who is Bill Cosby? They're going to tell you the guy that sexually molested, right? Or gay, whatever. Another person I think about is the dark Aunt Viv, right? Not the light-skinned Aunt Viv, but the dark-skinned Aunt Viv, right? Dark-skinned Aunt Viv couldn't find work because of what? Because of what Will told other people, right, about them. Whether it was true or not, ruined her career for years. She didn't do anything for 3 decades, right? And so it's the power of the tongue nowadays too, which really hurts. Again, whether it's true or not, top 5 quarterback or not, that sucks. And there should be no reason that is even true. It sucks because the people, if they are turn out to be lies, and we all hope that they are, there's no consequence for those people that just lie.
Nope.
Nothing. But there's I guess it wasn't true, huh? Move on. But right now, that man's whole career is tarnished, and he's not gonna be able to make it.
It may be actually a come up for them, CD. Like, they got paid. It's a come up for them.
Right. I mean, we all get paid TMZ or whatever, whoever takes that money. But what I'm saying is there's no consequence for those people if it's not true. Right. We don't say, oh, well, you guys deserve 3 years in prison. But if he gets convicted of these, then he has to go to prison. You see what I'm saying? Like, right. that the scales don't actually weigh out America. So we do need to talk about that a little bit more.
And go on your point that y'all seen the movie The Brian Banks Story. He actually served time for a fake rape allegation that he didn't actually rape the woman. So, to your point, that's the whole terrible point about this.
I think for me, I think the best thing to do in this case is to let everything play out. Me personally, I think the Texans are behind this in some form or fashion, but I think what we've learned as we follow different sports figures, as we follow different entertainers, is you never know what's true, you never know what's not true until all the facts come out. So I'm just one of those people. I'm just going to let everything come out, and then from there, let's ridicule or judge or talk about who was right, who was wrong, who lied and who did not lie. I don't think, and it's just what Sarkis just said, I don't think that Deshaun Watson is capable of this. This sounds and screams as if the Texans are behind it. But you never know, is all I would say.
I mean, we could have there is something that could potentially be done. I don't know if it's actually a potential solution to Sheedy's point. If by some chance the Texans were lying on this whole situation, if I'm Deshaun Watson, I'm suing for defamation of character. Like it's not even a question on it. Like if this turns out to be completely false, I will sue the mess out of the Texans for defamation of character, and I'm pretty sure he's going to get a nice little payday because they ain't gonna want to have this to go to trial. But anyway, staying with the NFL, I'm just going to kick it over to my man Lito. And
in our NFL talks this week, man, I'm trying to battle like laptop sound, turn the mic on, it's a lot. In this week's NFL talks this week, I wanted us to talk about free agency. I wanted us to talk about the people that's getting money, some of the people that are potentially being bought out of the contracts, people that are people and players that are moving on. So the NFL game that we're playing this week is NFL, but it stands for No Fun. FUN or FUNDS, No Funds League. So what everybody will do is talk about a contract or a signing that they did like, and then everybody will talk about a contract signing that they did not like. Hopefully this is Savage looking a little stressed over there. Hopefully you're not talking about the Eagles. So in the order of, actually, you know what? Thank you, Savage. You will go first. So Savage will go first, Sharky, then Took, then Cheedy, Trevor, and then I'll go last. So again, what signing did you did like, and then what signing did you not like?
Well, y'all know I'm an Eagles fan, and we didn't sign anybody. I mean, we signed, who's the guy? Anthony Harris. I mean, it was top 10 LBR, safety, whatever. I don't really care. So the signing that I actually did like is going to be actually in the NFC East. And I actually like that the Cowboys signed that guy from the Falcons, Keanu. I like that signing because Dan Quinn, if y'all don't know, if those who listen to IDK Sports Pod, I made a 7-step plan for the Dallas Cowboys to get back right. And one of those steps was bring in Dan Quinn as a defensive coordinator. They did that. And now Dan Quinn's defense is coming in with Keanu Neal. I saw that they may or may not be interested in Malik Hooker, who's a 24-year-old safety, who is pretty solid. And I think the Cowboys need any type of talent in the secondary to do well. So I actually like what the Cowboys did.
Any talent
at all. It might get a Dory Jackson. I don't know.
Yeah, I'll say they're interested in him too.
I don't know. But they did a good job. You know, one sign that I did not like. And I don't know why they did this. And this is actually connected to a Cowboy. Chicago Bears. Y'all signed Andy Dalton at all. Like, I don't understand why. Like, he's not moving any needles. I know you're trying to transition from Trubisky to whoever. I have no idea. But it seems as if the right move would be to tank because, I mean, you have a decent defense, I guess, but you don't really have talent to compete. So I don't know why you signed Andy Dalton to his deal. I don't know. So yeah, Cowboys, I liked it. Bears, Andy Dalton, didn't like it.
Okay. Thank you, Sarah. So I mean, you took mine. I don't care if you take mine because I'm just gonna repeat it. Andy Dalton signed with the Bears. I'm sorry to my dad. He's a Bears fan. I'm just so sorry. I know they did try and attempt. They attempted. They had a pretty good trade offer for Russell Wilson. But the problem with the Bears is this. Seattle needs a quarterback to replace Russ, and the Bears don't have that, and they don't have a high enough pick to give him to actually replace Russell Wilson. That's the problem with the deal with the Seahawks and him possibly getting to the Bears. They did try, but you don't come from that to saying, hey, we're going to sign Andy Dalton to a 1-year, $10 million deal.
Nope.
He's the one. You might as well stick with Nick Foles, man. Like, real talk. Like, come on now. Like, that, you don't come off of, we try to trade Russell Wilson. We want successful, so we're going to sign Andy Dalton. He going to be quarterback. That ain't going to slide. I'm sorry, Chicago. That's beautiful. A move that I did like. So Washington football team, Curtis Samuel, pairing him with his former college teammate Terry McLaurin. I do like the move. Ryan Fitzpatrick is a quarterback that can get the ball down the field. Got two speedsters on the outside, and Curtis Samuel, you can use him and Antonio Gibson in a lot of different at running back, slot receiver. So I do really like that move. And another just tie move, although it did take away from the Titans, but I'm glad we didn't pay him that much money. But Jonnu Smith to the Patriots, I am interested to see. I do think Jonnu is going to show out this year.
Salute to you, Sharky, on the Curtis Samuel one. Like $10 million is a pretty good price tag for somebody who is waiting to make his next level, transition. Right. I mean, when you look at the Panthers, like us and Roby and DJ, he couldn't extend, but I think with the Redskins, he will be able to. So speaking of somebody who actually plays with the Patriots and with Kirko, Cam Newton, that's actually a signing that I like. I said that I've been on it since last year. I think that it wasn't a fluke for him to go to New England. I think that the Patriots could have chosen really anybody in that free agency, and Cam Newton was their guy. He changed the leader. He changed the culture, being the leader that he is in New England. And I think that surrounding him with talent and weapons around him, finally, like Cam Newton's best season came when he had two tight ends, and you're going to get two of the best ones on the market. Like, that was a good thing for New England to do. So I'll be excited to watch Cam Newton do his thing. But one side and I didn't like, I'm looking at you Steelers fans with Juju, especially with the contract that I saw that he could have went to Baltimore and had. For the time 1 year, y'all signed him on a 1 year. Why not sign him longer? Y'all don't expect much out of him. I don't know what he expects.
He wanted 1 year.
Come on, I don't know what y'all had. He wanted 1 year.
Yeah, because the receiver market dried up.
Most of the receivers, and we'll get to that when I get to my guy. Most of the receivers took 1 year deals because of the cap this year.
That and then this year's a good year for receivers in the draft too.
Yeah.
So
and plus, we got Juju for a bargain. We got Juju for a bargain.
You say
so
what?
Y'all expecting a longer contract out of him next year?
Depends on how he performs. I don't think it's a guarantee that he's getting another contract. I mean, if anything that you notice from the Steelers, you see that they have a reluctance to pay wide receivers, which is why you see it took him so long to get signed. I think the 1 year deal for $8 million was a bargain, and depending on how well he does, depending on the direction in which the Steelers go at quarterback, he may or may not be back. I was actually surprised that he was back.
Yeah,
right.
And that's what I'm saying. Like, I'm looking on the side of Juju. Why sign somewhere for? I mean, I get it, but it's like $8 million. Like, somebody else could have paid him more, honestly, especially longer. But I get what y'all saying. Maybe next year he'll get more, but that's a huge gamble on yourself, especially with somebody like Juju, who you don't know who's quarterback. For your opinion.
I think similar to him and the Titans did this where we got Jayon Brown for a bargain. I think what happened is they got to the market. They thought they would get more. Sure, he could have signed for more with the Ravens, but I think it was also a 1 year deal. And if you're going to take a 1 year deal, I think you'd rather go back to a place that you're comfortable that you've been and you feel more. Okay. Yeah, I think Jayon Brown did the same thing with us, and Juju did the same with the Steelers.
Okay.
I'll go now. A sign that I liked is actually down where you're at, Tuka. I like AJ Green to the Cardinals. Actually, I like putting some more weapons there for Kyle.
I like it too.
You're talking about a guy that can really command double coverage, to be honest, when he's hot. And you got two players that you can command double coverage at all times. So I like AJ Green. Something I didn't like is Jameis Winston. The Saints have shown you, Jameis, that they don't really want you to be the starting quarterback. And here you are being a lapdog to take the money again as a backup. I'm cool on that, Jameis. I think you're much better than a backup quarterback. I mean, you had a pretty bad season, but I mean, so did Andy Dalton, and look where he's at with a starting role. So I think Jameis Winston to sign as a backup again, I don't like that.
Okay. Well, since she took the one person I had for the sign that I did like, I actually have another one though. So Sharkey mentioned and Jonnu Smith signing with the Patriots. I'm actually going to go with the other tight end that signed with the Patriots, and that's Hunter Henry. When he's on the field for the most of the part, he basically has been probably top 5, top 10 tight ends in the league. Pairing that with Jonnu Smith and then getting a full offseason of Cam Newton and giving Cam Newton the opportunity to actually learn the Patriots playbook. The Patriots could be interesting to watch this upcoming season. As far as moves I didn't like, I actually have 2. Sheedy alluded to Jameis Winston not signing back with the Saints as a backup, but I think that was like that was beyond his control, to be honest. Like, I think they, for some reason, are set on Taysom Hill. Giving the guy $140 million for basically, because we've seen Taysom Hill in action as a starter, and if you need not, just go watch that game against the Broncos in Denver. Perfect example of what Taysom Hill offers you as a quarterback. I think you could have used that money to, of course, sign Jameis, make him the starter, and then use whatever other funds you have left to, help the rest of the team. So that was one that I didn't like. And then another one I didn't like as well is Kenny Golladay signing with the New York Giants for the deal that he did. Hey, get paid, young man, get paid. For those who don't know, Kenny Golladay has been one of the top receivers in the league as far as touchdowns are concerned. I believe the past 2 seasons he's led all receivers in touchdowns for Detroit. Of course, you had Matthew Stafford as your QB, who, of course, it was really just him and you there in Detroit. So for you to leave there and take this money and go to the Giants with Daniel Jones as your quarterback, and let alone sign long-term for 4 years, where you probably could have just took a 1-year deal like the rest of the receivers and possibly hit the market again if you had a pretty decent season relative to what you've done in Detroit. It's kind of iffy there, but I guess, hey, get your money.
Hey, shout out to him. He said he wanted 18 mil a year, and he wouldn't got it.
Yeah.
Because when he made that announcement, I was like, who's going to get 18 million a year back? And, be surprised it happened.
Signing that I did not like, there wasn't many. Actually, there was only one that I did not like, and Savage and Sharky already mentioned it with the Chicago Bears. Sharky, I get your point where they couldn't go all in on Russell Wilson. I think Seattle's trying to make it seem like that they aren't willing to take calls on Russ, or making it seem like as if he's on the table. But I feel like if you struck out there, I feel like there could have been some other avenues that they could have gone down. Mm-hmm. Instead of signing Andy Dalton for that amount of money. So that's the signing that I don't like. I think the signings that I do like goes back to the Super Bowl champions. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers being able to re-sign Levante David and Shaq Barrett to, again, bring that linebacking core group back. Jesus cannot talk today. So, of course, you still got Devin White there, Shaq Barrett, and Levante David. You saw what they did in the playoffs. You saw what they did against the Kansas City Chiefs. So to bring basically your entire defense back off of what seemed as if a shortened season because there was no offseason, I think bodes well for them in the NFC South, and potentially them making another Super Bowl, but we'll see. Anybody else? I think that's it.
That's it.
Cool.
All right, Took, take us away.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So we have a list, Shark, if you want to go ahead and pull it up, that we found earlier in the season, and it shows the most hated player for every team. If you look at the Grizzlies specifically, because we are a Memphis-based podcast, it was Gorgie Jang at the beginning of the season. If you look, across and see just a bunch of good players, but I guess they're the most hated. If y'all want to go around and talk about anybody y'all see on this list that shouldn't be on the list, and then also, who is y'all most hated player ever, right? I also like you guys to answer that one. So I guess we'll go ahead and start with Shark, Sheedy, Trev, then Skylar, and then Savage.
Okay, most hated player ever. I'm gonna be honest with you. I thought long and hard. I really don't have one I just truly hated ever. I know we mentioned starting 5 for the Grizzlies. Had Rudy Gay, but he's not my most. I went like a player I just truly didn't like to that extent. I guess the player I don't like now is Paul George. So I guess just right now him. But it was a point in time that I really didn't like LeBron, but I always thought he was the best, right? And I respected him. So I wouldn't go as far as just be like, man, I truly hated him. So that's why, the kid question was hard for me. But right now, Paul George is the one I probably really just don't like right now because I just feel like he's a fake. He's a fake tough guy. He gets his buckets, he does things, but in playoffs he shrinks and he just act like he's tough and he's really not.
So, I'll do different. In history, the most hated player to me, one of the most hated players I think, not just me. I don't really hate this player anymore. Is Rasheed Wallace. There's a lot of hate for Rasheed Wallace and what he did, man. And man, he wasn't doing nothing but playing basketball. He was playing street basketball in the NBA. But it's called what it is. And Cass didn't really like that and respect that from him. And so what? But to me, give me Rasheed Wallace as one of the most hated players ever. When you're talking about today's game, I think that Grayson Allen is going to wear that, unfortunately, a little bit because of his past history. But right now, who's around the hot seat, and thank God he's gone from the Heat, is Myers Leonard. I agree with that. One of the most hated players in the league. He was standing last year, not kneeling, so people looked at him a little bit differently when that happened. So give me Myers Leonard for now.
Yeah, I'm kind of with Sharky on this one. I don't really have a player, past or present, that I just like personally hate. Of course, I always had respect for him, but I'll just go the route is to say who I feel is the most hated ever. And it's somebody that's currently playing in the NBA right now, and that's Russell Westbrook. It seems like whatever this guy does on the court is never praised for God knows why. And then it's like everything that goes wrong, he's the guy that everybody points to. Now, granted, sometimes the plays that he makes doesn't always equate to winning basketball. That I will admit. But if someone else was putting up the numbers that Russell Westbrook was putting up, i.e. Luka Doncic or someone of that nature, you'd see like all of the high praise that he would get. Or if those numbers were put up and Dallas took a loss or something, they're not going to point the fingers at him. Anytime Washington was taking a loss, it was always pointed at Russell Westbrook. It's never nothing that may have been going on with Scott Brooks, because I feel that he's not the right coach for them at this point, or it could have been something else with the rest of the guys. But it just seems like Russell Westbrook can't do anything right in the eyes of the media and fans. It's just, to me, it's just ridiculous. So, but that's my Russell Westbrook.
Is it on
Thank
me?
you.
No, my bad. Go ahead, Sal.
Yeah. Okay. Oh boy. I don't have a most hated player in the league. But I think Shane Battier annoyed me. But that was only because he played really, really good defense on Kobe Bryant throughout their battles. So it's Shane Battier, which is kind of interesting because he went to Duke. But we're not gonna talk about that. That's neither here or there. But it's Shane Battier. He like I said, I didn't hate him, but he just annoyed me because he played really good defense. And I think that's why a lot of these players that's on this list is on the list, because they play really scrappy. Sometimes it may annoy you type defense.
Good point.
All right. So from this list, that has like the picture of everybody on it, well, the person, I guess. I think the most hated person right now is probably Rudy Gobert, because nobody respects him. He literally started COVID within the NBA. He had beef with Donovan Mitchell. He's not the defensive player of the year. He's the help defensive player of the year. People just don't like this man. And I don't necessarily care for him either, because I feel like he doesn't do anything offensively. I mean, he's like a one-trick pony, I guess. But we're talking about history. Like y'all said, I don't really hate anybody. I like basketball. But if I had to pick one person that probably is the most hated person, I'm surprised nobody mentioned him. I'm gonna go to the Motor City and say Isaiah Thomas, because he was literally left off of the Dream Team because of Michael Jordan, and he just didn't get to play. And then not only that, but he was a bad boy, and everybody hate the bad boys. So
See,
I'm gonna roll with Isaiah Thomas.
See, that was before my time. So, but I thought
If you watching, hey babe, don't put me on the couch tonight. I know we talking bad about this.
I respect Isaiah Thomas, but I just think about who people just hate the most. I think it's him. If I had to guess.
I thought you were gonna go with Bruce Bowen because.
Well, I like Bruce Bowen, so I don't know.
I couldn't stand him because bro was money from the corner, but when he went to the free throw line, he couldn't make free throws and save his life.
Man, I appreciate y'all. Y'all are some really good guys. Of course, the word hate is like really strong and whatnot, but you know, we just people that we really don't like that we overrate and everything. If I can give mine, there was a particular player for the Grizzlies, right? Came as a free agent. Came and averaged 6 points a game in 35th game, 8 in the next, and he only played 36 games in that season. And then he came and averaged another 8 points, which is okay, in another 25 games. He only started 3 times, but he got paid $23 million a season. Can you guys guess who this player is?
Hey, we moved on, man. We moved on.
We moved on Bill Parsons, bro. And plus, I mean,
Parsons. That guy. Do y'all remember him? That guy got paid $23 million to not even average a game. He didn't even play in 40 games in any of the seasons that he played.
He literally got paid for the idea of Houston Rockets Chandler Parsons. He got paid for the idea. You got paid for the idea of him, period. No, I said the idea of him in Houston, because I don't even recall him actually playing well in Dallas.
All I gotta say is, I don't know what you heard about. You can get $1 out of me.
Okay, the last no burns you can't see.
He came. Look, we all know what Memphis stands for, man. He came and he's, in my opinion, he's the biggest pimp that ever touched ground at Memphis, bro. $23 million a year for 3 years. Find me a bigger pimp. Chandler Pimp Parsons. Keep a pimp hand strong, player. I hope you're doing all right out here.
I raise you MLG and W.
Ooh, man, let me get that wallet. MLGW. I don't know, man. I don't know.
Yeah, I think MLG and W got Chandler beat on that one. Right?
Can I raise an Xfinity though?
Xfinity's world is like global, but you can throw them in there too.
Yeah, funny, man. Got this on you, man.
So you said you had a troll or nah?
Yeah. I actually do. I just wanted to get you guys' opinions because the Suns are like number 2 in the West, right? And like LeBron is gone out. Anthony Davis probably won't be healthy for the rest of the year. And the Clippers don't know what the hell they going because they still, is what I'm saying, Paul George and Kawhi will work, but they still don't have a leader to pass the ball, so the Clippers ain't there. Suns in the Utah, I'm willing to take the Suns over there. So trolling all. Utah Jazz calling it right now, NBA Finals.
Utah Jazz?
Phoenix Suns.
Phoenix Suns. My bad.
I'm going to say the Phoenix Suns.
Really quick. I'll go first. I'll go first. Let me raise
my bad.
I'll go first. So y'all know, I forget what year this was, but whenever Chris Paul's on the Houston Rockets, I said this. The Rockets with Chris Paul, James Harden, should have beat the Golden State Warriors. Why? Because Chris Paul, wherever he goes, he turns that team into gold. The Oklahoma City Thunder, the Clippers, the Hornets, Rockets, now the Suns. Now, this is if, and I don't think that AD will be 100%. I do not expect that. I think he might get hurt again. I'm in the camp, but let him man sit out and just wait till next year. LeBron with the high ankle, you don't want to play with that. I personally would not play with that. I would not play with AD at all. Like I would just sit down, LeBron and AD come back next year, ready to go. So that's not a troll for me. I think the Phoenix Suns, you got Booker who can put up 30, 40, 50, 60, 70. Chris Paul who going to give you rebounds, who going to give you effort, who going to give you assists. That's not a troll to me. But they don't get worked by the Nets in the finals, but not a troll to me.
See, the Lakers, before I answer the question, Lakers in a rough position because LeBron is 36. Like they slick can't afford to say just sit out and wait till next year because it's like
that's true.
That's a waste of year. So they ain't a slippery slope, but we're basically assuming that the Lakers won't be fully healthy in this question.
They won't. Right. They won't be.
It's not troll, but if they all come back now. But I say it's not troll, assuming that Anthony Davis and LeBron don't come back, which I presume they're gonna try because they can't waste a year.
And that is exactly why this is a troll. The Lakers are going to do whatever they can. I think they are one of the two. They're one of the teams that's in the NBA where all the chips are pushed into the middle of the table, and they're going to go after it. You saw the injury to LeBron; it looks bad, but he came back in the game and made a 3-point shot. So I'm one of those people that now, when it comes to LeBron, when it comes to Tom Brady, I have to see in order to believe that they are in either the Super Bowl or the NBA Finals. So I'm still going with the Lakers until I see otherwise.
Yeah, that's respectable.
I'm looking at the standings and I'm with Lito here. Like until somebody beat the Lakers, you gotta show me. And if the standings stay the way that they are for the playoffs, Chris Paul is going to match up with his Achilles heel, which is the San Antonio Spurs. And San Antonio Spurs team, even though they've been flying under the radar, DeMar DeRozan has been playing extravagant things of that nature.
Yes,
because Chris Paul's history with the Spurs is not that great. Lost to him when he was in New Orleans. It took literally a last-second shot in which he almost nearly got injured to beat the Spurs. I think that was 2014.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I'm going to go troll just for the simple fact that Chris Paul will probably run into his Achilles heel, and until somebody beat the Lakers 4 out of 7, I'm not going to pick against them. So,
yeah, thankfully for this scenario, I don't have to choose the Lakers. I'm just going to say this: it's a troll because the Suns don't have like the playoff experience you need when it comes time to do it. Yes, Chris Paul done it, right? He's done it on numerous teams, but it's just him. And Jay Crowder.
Sometimes that's all that you need, though. But we saw the Heat last season. Though. Sometimes that's all you need is that extra part.
But it's not good.
I mean, they still made it. Jimmy Butler was tested.
So what I'm saying is the Heat last year had players that have been in the playoffs before. The Suns team doesn't really have that.
It's similar. Jimmy Butler and Chris Paul. Then Jay
They're
Crowder.
the same. It's the same thing. Jay Crowder.
Andre Iguodala. Okay, Andre Iguodala. He did.
Kelly Olynyk has been in the playoffs before. Miles Leonard has been in the playoffs before. Who? We have players. Exactly. I know it's a whole. Has been in the playoffs.
My thing is shitty, and also my thing is also this: when the bubble, right? The straight basketball that the bubble was. How many times did Devin Booker lose?
I didn't see him in the playoffs. I agree. He didn't lose in the bubble.
None.
Yeah, I agree.
This is a playoff series.
What I'm saying, what I'm getting at is, you're asking about winning the championship, and I don't see that team beating a tested Trailblazers team.
Yeah, I was about to say Portland came to mind.
I don't see them even beating the Nuggets. I'm talking about a 7-game series. That's what I'm discussing. And this Suns team has not played a 7-game series.
That's true.
That's what I'm getting at. I respect the Suns wholeheartedly, but I don't think this year, until they've proven that they can do what they can do in the playoffs, that they have it. That's just a team that just doesn't have it yet. That's all.
All right. They're gonna shock the world, man.
And I think we may be putting a little too much stock into that Devin Booker performance from the bubble. Great performance. Again, I need to see it again. It's my thing.
I need to see it throughout the series. I need to see it throughout the playoffs.
That's fair. That's fair with adjustments and people double teaming him because he like being double teamed. That's fair.
It's not just him. You got like majority of the guys that's in the rotation. This would be like literally their first time actually getting some clock in the playoffs.
That's true.
But I think that Chris Paul neutralizes that though. I think so anyway.
One man.
I agree. Yeah, that's a lot.
I don't know.
Yeah, one man. Because again, Chris Paul goes everywhere. He goes everywhere, and it turns to gold every time.
Right. So,
but even if you look,
it's not. Are they good enough to be in the playoffs? This debate is about winning the championship. And so what you're saying?
Well, championship, no, because of the Knicks. But in the West, yes.
In the West, the better.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. In the West, I didn't say championship. I said in the West.
I think so.
Oh, to get out the West.
I think that's a problem.
I didn't say nothing about championship. I said in the West.
To somebody beat the Lakers 4 out of 7. To somebody beat the Lakers 4 out of 7.
Well, I guess my mindset with Lakers is that I don't think AD is healthy, and I don't think he will be. I think he's gonna get hurt again if he plays again. This is my opinion.
But to that point, I haven't seen LeBron lose a series lose a series before the finals since 2009, 10.
Yeah, against the Celtics.
No matter who was on his team.
if AD ain't playing, because Wesley Matthews,
2020 book 2. 2020 book 2. 2020 ain't over yet. Don't let the world, because we get free. Don't let the world fool you. Still 2020 book 2.
All right. Anybody else got told now?
Nah,
that was a good one. That was
I didn't think it was gonna get like that, but I appreciate that.
Oh yeah, that was real good. All right, way to incorporate LeBron's injury into the show too. Good job.
Yeah, y'all want to know something? Lakers play Phoenix tonight. That's also funny as well.
And you live.
I'm debating if I want to add that game to the parlay. So I'm debating.
Would you have thought about this if you wasn't living in Phoenix right now?
I would have.
He probably would have.
He probably would have, because
Paul is literally the perfect solution to fit with that son. I would have been on it. I promise y'all. I love Chris Paul since way forward. He's the perfect spot to do.
I love him since way
forward. But since I'm here, I'm gonna enjoy it. God willing, of course. God willing.
Hey,
y'all gotta come out.
Y'all ain't turn the followers. They do get there. Turn the followers.
Yeah, y'all gotta be out here with me, man.
I don't care enough to come out there. All right, man. That was a good show. Remember, man, shout out to Sister Jean. Shout out to the women. Women's Month. Continue to watch you some March Madness basketball. Well, anybody got anything else before we get off?
Speaking of women, the women's tournament started today. So make sure you watch some women basketball as well.
Yep.
I need to know who won between UT and MTSU, because I know they matched
looked it up
today.
But the next time, y'all, peace.
Stay black.